farming. It's a skill that lots of skyblock players don't really like, and there's a really plain reason for that. Farming is nothing more than repetitive running backwards and forwards on lanes of crops, and it's just aimless. There's nothing to gain from it. The money that it made may have been relevant like 8 months ago or 10 months ago, but it isn't now, and you can make over double or maybe even triple what farming made at its peak with just an hour of nerfed mining. Even with gemstone prices at 4 coins at the NPC instead of 8, mining is still vastly better than farming for money, and farming is also a very annoying skill, seeing as you have to get 10 gold medals to finish getting farming 60. There are somehow people who actually enjoy this skill, going as far as to build upwards of 15 layers of farm just so they can infinitely farm any crop they want. But this wasn't me. This was not my solution. So, instead, I remembered a YouTube video I had seen a few months ago, made by a YouTuber and one of my friends named Akeno. He made a video about how melon minions could produce roughly 500,000 farming XP per day. And I knew that with the newly added beacon buff from the Dwarven Mines update, I could get even more. So here is my solution. For 7 months, these minions have been on my island, just producing resources, and through these 7 months, I went from a starting farming level of 24 to my current farming level 59, and these hyper catalysts currently in the minions, of which there are 6 days left. Once I empty them, farming 60 will be complete. I already finished all of the medals through a large amount of pure pain, so once I get there, I will be farming 60. I basically consider myself to have already beaten the skill, considering the XP is just inside of my minions, and I have all the medals already and all the stuff unlocked. But here, this is my guide to farming 60. Do absolutely minimal work to get to your destination, which is the max level. Now, we're gonna go over some problems I had with this. First off was my absolutely awful placement of the minions. You can't see in tab right now, but there's a few of them that aren't placed optimally. They don't produce enough resources to be efficient. Also, combined with what you saw in that last clip with my absolutely amazing internet in combination with server restarts, just made my life incredibly difficult making it through the night on my island, since melon minions don't work at their max speed if you aren't on your island AFKing. Of course, my first problem was going to be money. Now, with the Technoblade mare, I knew I was going to be getting a lot more farming XP than normal for my melon minions. However, the price of hyper catalysts rose drastically, and my net worth was not very high. So I didn't think I was going to be able to use hyper catalysts during Technoblade mare, but I lucked out and pulled a legendary dragon pet, and that paid for my hyper catalyst through there. My second problem came during Derpy, and that was because I still didn't have money, but this time I had no RNG to get me out of my situation. So my solution was selling things to pay for hyper catalysts. My net worth was so low that I needed to sell items I owned to get more hyper catalysts for my minions. I ended up in August getting a really good streak of luck going, along with a bunch of free money from someone I knew who quit. So my net worth was sitting at a pretty comfortable 7 billion coins, not anywhere near the top 20, but still somewhat respectable for an endgame player. And I didn't have to worry about paying for my hyper catalysts anymore. So I started, instead of buying them day by day like I used to, I bought them as full rounds, which is 25 or 27, depending on how many minion slots I had at the time, stacks of hyper catalysts to go in my minions. Which brings us to my second issue, which was extreme laziness. Because I've never really had a high amount of minion slots, even right now, I only have 27. I did most of this whole melon minion quest with 25, so it took way longer than it should have. I also forgot fuel in my beacon for probably like a month before I noticed, which was rather embarrassing. And there were also, I believe, about 4 days in the beginning of Technoblade Mare where I was security banned and couldn't actually even log on before it got reversed. Anyways, that's gonna end off this video. The whole point is just to do melon minions for farming 60. If you don't want to deal with it yourself, it's a really good alternative. It won't take that long. It was really inefficient for me, because I have absolutely awful tendencies when it comes to this. But you'll probably be able to do it in like 3 months, I'd say. Which is 6 rounds of hypercatalysts, which is roughly 1.2 billion coins into hypercatalysts, and you get, I believe it's 2/3 of that money back. I lost a lot more, because it took me 7 months to finish cheesing farming 60. And I was just bad, so there's that. Alright, thank you everyone for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. Goodbye.